Traoré's crackdown on Netanyahu, the moment everything changed, they thought he was bluffing. They thought Traoré was all talk, another African leader throwing bold words into the wind. But they were wrong, because what happened last Thursday wasn't a speech. It wasn't a warning. It was a direct strike, one that sent shockwaves from Tel Aviv to Paris. And by the time the dust settled, Benjamin Netanyahu's grip on Africa had been publicly, methodically, and brutally torn apart. Let's start at the moment it all flipped. 7 o'clock. A.M. Ouagadougou. Military trucks surround a nondescript office complex on the eastern edge of the city. Uniformed officers enter without a word. Inside, stacks of documents, hard drives, encrypted phones, all seized. Outside the building, plaque with a foreign logo, a telecommunications company. On paper, harmless. But Traoré's government knew better. That company was a shell, an Israeli-backed data firm quietly, harvesting regional intelligence, and that was just target one. By 9 a.m., 6 more Israeli-linked firms had been raided, their networks frozen, their operations dismantled. No press releases, no statements. It's just swift, coordinated execution. At noon, Traoré stepped in front of the cameras. He didn't shout. He didn't posture. He simply said, "Africa is not your blind spot anymore." That line wasn't aimed at Burkina Faso's enemies. It was aimed directly at Benjamin Netanyahu, because over the past decade, Netanyahu had quietly built a backdoor network across Africa. Defense contracts, intelligence partnerships, economic aid programs with strings no one could see, until Traoré tore the curtain down, and what followed wasn't chaos. It was clarity. Here's what Traoré did next. Every Israeli defense or surveillance contract in Burkina Faso canceled. Every NGO with ties to foreign intelligence expelled. Every diplomat suspected of covert operations. Persona non grata. Bye. The next morning, photos emerged. Israeli offices stripped bare, computers boxed, staff escorted by soldiers, trucks hauling away crates of encrypted communications gear. Traoré didn't ask for permission. He didn't warn anyone. He acted, and within hours, it spread. Mali froze all Israeli military technology imports. Guinea suspended joint cyber initiatives. Niger began a formal investigation into foreign-backed infrastructure deals. 3 days, 3 countries. One domino effect. In Tel Aviv, panicked Netanyahu called for an emergency briefing. Leaked transcripts from Israeli media showed top advisors scrambling to contain the fallout. One advisor reportedly told Netanyahu, "This isn't about Burkina Faso anymore. He's building a wall against us." And he is. Because this wasn't just a purge. It was a blueprint. Traoré didn't just target businesses. He laid out the framework for an African-wide counterintelligence doctrine, one built on 3 principles: total transparency of foreign investments, zero tolerance for undeclared intelligence activity, continental cooperation to monitor and respond to foreign interference. This isn't politics, it's war, not with bullets, but with control, sovereignty, memory, and Netanyahu is on the wrong side of that memory. Traoré said it best: you funded our divisions. You mapped our minerals. You called us unstable when we refused your chains. Now, Africa is speaking, and the world is listening. Even France, usually first to defend its partners, said nothing. The US, a vague call. For restraint and dialogue, the EU, silence, because they know what this really means. The old order where Western and Israeli influence move through Africa unchecked is being reversed in real time. Meanwhile, in Burkina Faso, the streets erupted. Crowds gathered outside the presidential compound, not in protest, but in celebration. Young people holding banners that read, "Africa is not for sale. No more shadows, Traoré." Our voice for decades. African leaders have been told to behave, to cooperate, to make deals quietly, behind closed doors, with men who wear suits but think like colonizers. Not anymore. Because Traoré didn't just kick out Israel's operations, he made it public, visible, unmistakable. And by doing so, He shattered the illusion that Africa's silence equals consent. So how did Netanyahu respond? Privately, he's furious. Publicly, he's trapped. He can't retaliate militarily. He can't send diplomats, they're being rejected. He can't turn to his usual Western allies, they're watching. Hesitant to get involved because now the world sees Traoré not as a rogue, but as a representative of a continent done begging. Inside the Israeli government, analysts now fear what they call the Traoré doctrine, a model that other African leaders may adopt. And let's be clear, this is not just symbolic Israeli military exports too. Africa represents billions in contracts. Intelligence sharing provides Tel Aviv with access to migration routes, mineral reserves, and political leverage. If Traoré succeeds in turning Africa against these networks, it will be a historic geopolitical shift. Not a ripple, but a rupture. And it's already happening. Sources now confirm that a coalition of 6 West African states are drafting a shared blacklist of foreign firms. It's involved in data mining and political interference. Israeli companies top the list. Regional security agencies are beginning to share surveillance data in a closed loop, locking out foreign oversight. Even the African Union is reportedly preparing a resolution supporting sovereign resistance. To covert foreign operations, Traoré didn't just start a crackdown, he started a movement. And Netanyahu, he's out of moves, because when a continent stops asking for permission, the empire has no answer. Before you go, what do you think? This Traoré's boldest move yet? And is this just the beginning of a bigger wave across Africa? Let us know in the comments and tell us where you're watching from. And if you believe this moment matters, if you believe this message needs to spread, hit that like button. Subscribe to Traoré Uprising and join the voices refusing to be silent, because this isn't just political analysis. This is history in real time.